A story that has disturbed an entire country. People watching this story even 4 days later are filled with questions. The death of Shefali Jariwala. Her post-mortem is still not out. There continues to be suspense over it. And into this vacuum, there continues to be an entire storm of speculation. A trickle of information from friends and family seems to build out an image of someone who was self-medicating, someone who was under pressure to look young, someone who was self-injecting certain supplements, someone who was under anti-aging therapy. This has all led to a very unseemly, very indelicate suspense deepening in the Shefali Jariwala case. Here on NDTV, as you have no doubt noticed, we are reporting only the facts. We are attempting to navigate this story with sensitivity because 4 days after the death of this 42-year-old actor, reality star and dancer, there are very few of those questions that have actually been answered. An entire young generation continues to consume this story with an increasing sense of anxiety over why there are no answers to some of the basic questions yet, and why it is that only a trickle of information appears to be coming out via the media. This death continues to be shrouded, despite all this information, in question after question after question. So what is holding on to the truth? Now remember, investigations into death, post-mortems can be extremely complicated affairs and they can take time. The truth is, it can take 7, 8, 10 days, it can take 2 weeks even. We are not saying anything about foul play. There are so many others speculating about it. But we have to acknowledge questions that need answers because there are fans in their millions watching and consuming this story and wondering whether something is being hidden, what went wrong, why this delay continues to raise doubts, and most importantly perhaps, young Indians watching and wondering why Shefali Jariwala is dead. And that's the reason why here on NDTV we've made it a point to bring in sense and sensibility on this story. Laxmi Rana is an entrepreneur. You know her as a supermodel, someone who has innovated incredibly in this space. She's an educator and founder of Wilderby Talent Camp, and a person who's been responsible for many models, many young Indians entering showbiz as well. Laxmi, good to see you. Thank you very much for your time. And I wish, once again, as we always say, I wish this was on a happier story. I wish these were under better circumstances. But this is a tragedy that we are talking about, the death of a young person in the limelight, who is no longer with us. There are all these questions and speculations that have done the rounds on why she died, how she died, what medicines she was taking. But I'd like to get your first thoughts on her death. This is not an unfamiliar situation we find ourselves in, Laxmi, where someone in the limelight has passed away and there are all these questions many days later.
I'm really, I was pretty shocked about her death. The thing is, I would like to highlight 2 points here. One is that, I don't know what the circumstances were that, surrounds her death. But keeping all the speculations in mind, I need to tell people, and I need to bring this out here, that number one, that the idea of beauty today is very misplaced. Beauty is a lot to do with 4 different aspects, which is more of mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical growth. So when we talk about the kind of pressures we feel or we come under in the glamour industry, when it comes to being thin and young and looking a certain way, I feel that the youth of today needs to understand that it is not the right way to go about it. Today, we value uniqueness. We value personalities who have a certain inspirational quality to give out.
Yeah.
The second thing that I would like to point out is post-COVID especially, the industry has opened up to so many different varieties and different kinds of beauty. Be it, we don't really care about being thin and tall anymore. It is a lot to do with uniqueness, which is, it could be any gender, it could be any age category, it could be, a different physicality, be it a plus size model or, perhaps models with, a skin disorder, skin issue, which is maybe a vitiligo. Models are doing really well today. So I am right now at an age where I will be doing the India Couture Week in July and walking with models who are half my age.
Yeah.
And if I had to compare myself to them, it is a lost cause. I am doing that because of my, the reason why I'm relevant today is because of the authenticity, the experience that I bring to the table. And if we start accepting that, if we start accepting who we are and how we can be age gracefully and keep our experience as the most important aspect of growth, I feel that we will do a good job of ourselves by staying, relevant.
The sad and tragic part, I take your point, Lakshmi, is that, I wish Shefali was, around to answer some of these questions, and I realize the irony in wishing that. But, all of these things being said about the anti-aging therapy, etc., it's so ironic to be able to, talk about it now after she's gone. She was only 42 years old. But I do want to draw your attention to some of the specifics here. And, you've been in the limelight, you are in the limelight, you've tutored people to be in the limelight as well, Lakshmi. Words like glutathione, injections for anti-aging therapy. What do these really mean? Because, for many people, they're hearing about these things for the first time. Are these things that people in showbiz are constantly having to face up to?
Absolutely. I feel the most important point here is that, to what level are you going to stretch to actually fit a certain norm, and or a certain kind of a mold that people expect out of you. So when it comes to, and I feel that there's a lot of lack of awareness of these kind of procedures and medicines that you're intaking. However, if you follow the Kardashians, like, for example, if the youth of today follow the Kardashians, they will feel that, oh, maybe this is what is needed. You need to inject yourself or be a certain type. However, it's called, there's this book called Worshipping False Gods. So if you're following the right people like an Ashley Graham, who's a plus size influencer, who talks about body positivity, who talks about how to bring out your unique self, she's walked the international ramp so many times. And I feel that, are we really following the right people? Are we really, in times of social media where there's so much available, we are actually in a place wherein we are, educating ourselves in the wrong manner. And that is what I bring to the table when it comes to my education platform. For all these years, I've realized that, beauty is something which is a misconception. The idea of beauty is actually brought about wrong in the industry. Yeah. It is, so the idea of beauty today is very different than what it used to be. So right now there is a space for all kinds of people to grow in this glamour industry. So where is the pressure? The pressure needs to be understood, that it is not about being fitting into a mold that people expect out of you. It is about how you find your place in this world of glamour.
The fight against those perceptions of beauty, I imagine, is going to be a long fight, even though we live in a world, where those perceptions are visibly changing, like you've, very well described, Lakshmi. My final comment to you then is, for all young people aspiring to be in showbiz, watching and, probably feeling a sense of anxiety themselves about the possibility of someone succumbing to anxiety. We don't know the reality of what happened. But how would you advise them? We live in a world of social media, where which brings its own level of ruthlessness and feedback to those perceptions of beauty that you speak about.
I really would like to tell the youth of today, especially because they are the ones who are most impressionable, that it comes down to three things. It comes down to self-worth, it comes down to being resilient, and it comes down to being careful about what you are intaking in terms of information. If these three things are followed well, I feel that, you will, the youth of today will actually go down the right path instead of following, worshipping false gods, as I said. So, this is what advice I would like to give them.
Okay, Laxmi Rana, it's been nice talking to you. Once again, I wish this was on a better occasion, and we will bring you back. But 4 days after the death of Shefali Jariwala, as we in the media, we certainly on NDTV continue to report this with facts. It's good to have people with skin in the game, as it were. people under the limelight, people in the industry, people who are responsible for others entering this industry, to give us a sense and a perspective. And I think it's very sobering to hear that these are issues that are shared by so many of you. And I, somewhere hope that Shefali Jariwala is listening as well. Thank you. Thank you very much, Laxmi, for being with us.
Thank you very much. Thank you.